Hi, I'm Doug Pierce, President of Clinical Inc., and I'd like to introduce you to SureSource, the market's first true electronic source record. Unlike traditional EDC systems, SureSource increases the efficiency of both sites and sponsors. SureSource is best understood as having three components: the tablet software, the web portal, and the database servers uniting both. Let's look at the tablet software first. Running on easy-to-use, secure, and lightweight tablets, SureSource eliminates case report forms, both paper and electronic, dramatically reduces both source data verification and queries, enables remote monitoring, and increases site productivity. As you will see over the next few minutes, SureSource mirrors the workflow of coordinators and CRAs, allowing each to work to their full potential. Our team of designers draw upon their years of clinical experience to create e-source documents that are familiar, intuitive, and remarkably powerful. To log into SureSource, I simply write my username using the tablet stylus and enter my password. SureSource checks to ensure that I am an authorized user, and if I am, logs me into the system. Once I am logged in, SureSource tracks my work in a secure audit trail that can be reviewed on the web portal. Additionally, every 30 seconds, all unsaved information is encrypted and saved to the hard drive as well as to the SD card. If a tablet were to fail for some reason, all the data can be fully recovered. Since SureSource tablets can be used with multiple studies at a single site, the first step is to select the desired study. Once the study is selected from the drop-down list, the subject charts available for downloading from the Clinical Inc. servers are shown. Downloading a subject chart is as easy as dragging and dropping. The charts are securely downloaded via a secure socket layer connection to our servers. Opening a chart reveals the protocol-defined visit list. Tapping on a visit row opens the eSource document. Notice that the document looks just like the paper source familiar to both coordinators and CRAs. Completing a document is simply a matter of checking the appropriate boxes, selecting items from drop-down lists, or writing down the information. Depending upon the requirement, SureSource either converts your handwriting to text or leaves it as handwritten notes. Highlighted fields are required, and as you can see, the requirements can be conditional if need be. Warnings or prompts for further action can be triggered by data that is out of range. Since you can write anywhere on the screen, it is easy to provide additional information. In this case, the initial vital signs were out of range, and a second collection was required by the protocol. I'll add a handwritten note explaining why the initial readings were out of range. You can navigate through a multi-page document by either tapping the previous or next page button or selecting a specific selection from the section list. Here I've chosen to go directly to the physical exam section. Notice that the physical exam is locked. Any SureSource section can be locked to specific user roles. This physical exam, for example, can only be completed by an investigator. Unlocking a section is achieved by tapping on the lock icon and entering the proper login credentials. Of course, the change in users is captured in the audit trail. Watch while I complete the physical exam. Complying with 21 CFR Part 11 requires the investigator enter his password a second time. As you can see, SureSource captures both an electronic and a wet signature. Since the subject reported feeling dizzy, I need to enter an adverse event. At any time during a visit, you can access the medical history, adverse event, or ConMed screens by selecting their tab. Watch while I enter a new adverse event. First, I select the AE tab at the top of the screen. Next, I select the Add AE button and then the Select a Medical Condition button, which opens a list of over 1,500 medical conditions. This list can be searched by browsing the organ systems or by simply writing in the condition. I'll write dizziness in the search field. Immediately, I see all the items associated with dizziness in the list. Once my condition is selected, I can quickly go through the screen and record all the necessary information about the adverse event. Saving the adverse event enters it into the AE log, where it can be reviewed by the investigator or other site users. As you will see shortly, this log, as well as the medical history and ConMed log, are available on the web portal. Since I recorded that this AE was being treated with a medication, I need to record that medication information on the ConMed form. Entering medication information is very similar to entering an adverse event. First, I select the Add ConMed button from the ConMed log, and then I select the medication from our extensive drug list. I can search this list either by using the alphabetized tabs and browsing the list, or directly by writing the name of the drug in the search field. Once the desired drug is found, I select the dose and record the required information. Watch while I select the drug and add the information. Notice the total daily dose is auto-calculated. Recording the indication is simple. You just select it from a drop-down list that contains all previously saved medical history conditions and adverse events. You can also add an indication that is not on the list. Multiple indications are added by simply repeating the process. Behind the scenes, SureSource runs sophisticated validation rules to ensure that all ConMed, AE, or medical history start and stop dates are consistent, eliminating one of the most common sources of queries. After saving the ConMed, you are returned to the ConMed log. Now that I have recorded the AE and ConMed associated with the abnormal finding reported during the physical exam, I can return to the visit document and complete the session. After completing the final page, I select Save. SureSource runs validation rules and edit checks created during the study design process and presents all errant or omitted data. I can either address them now or save the document as incomplete, giving a reason for doing so. I'll select to be completed at a later date as the reason for saving the form in an incomplete state. Returning to my chart lists, I can return the chart to the server by dragging and dropping the chart icon. All the subject data is encrypted and securely transmitted to the Clinical Inc. servers. Once transmitted to the servers, it is available for remote monitoring as well as for export to downstream systems. Now, I'd like to introduce you to the SureSource web portal. Like the tablet software, our web portal is designed to fit intuitively into the CRA and data manager's workflow. The web portal features real-time remote monitoring, immediate access to source documents and data, intuitive query management, and a detailed audit trail. Let's log in as a CRA. As a CRA, or data manager, I might be working on multiple studies. So my first step is to select the study I want to work with. Selecting a study displays a list of the associated sites. Selecting a site displays a list of all the subject charts at that site. And selecting a chart displays a list of that subject's visits. In just 4 clicks, you are inside a chart. Clicking on the document name opens a PDF of the file, allowing you to review the document, data captured in fields, as well as handwritten notes, drawings, and signatures. Medical history, adverse event, and ConMed logs can be reviewed by clicking on their tabs and scrolling through the lists. The list can be sorted by date and type, and individual items can be expanded to reveal the details. At any time, you can easily add a query to a subject chart, visit document, or log entry. If you want to query a visit document, you can select the document, a page, or even an individual data field on a page. Each day, all research sites receive an email digest of the new and open queries for their site. Coordinators can go to the web portal, click on the query title, and be taken immediately to the document in question. Thank you for allowing me to introduce you to SureSource. To learn more about how SureSource can help increase the productivity of both sites and sponsors, dramatically reduce the number of queries, eliminate STV, and enable remote monitoring, please visit us at clinicalinc.com.